I'm Emily. I'm a makeup amateur and a YouTube amateur, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going to try to make this a very quick video because the sun's going down, but as anybody who knows me will attest, I'm an incredibly rambly person, so we'll see how that goes. I just did like very simple makeup. For me today, at one point there was like something in my eye, so there might still be some residual gray smudges on my cheek from trying to get that out. But I was afraid that if I took all my makeup off and redid it, then the sun would be down by the time I was finished. So without further ado, the whole purpose of this video is to open the BoxyCharm premium box for the month of March. This is the second largest of their box. You can get this every month in addition to the base box or on its own. It costs $35 American, and there's an additional, I think, $5 or $8 shipping to Canada. I didn't see very many spoilers for the premium box until I got it, and the funny thing about that is I actually kind of completely forgot what my choice item was. I saw way more promo and spoiler information about the base and luxe boxes. And by the way, I did get the luxe box this month. That video is already up. I will link it below. So the premium box has 6 things in it. And beginning for April, actually, the choice window has already passed, but they're implementing this new thing where you actually get to pick 2 of the items in your premium box. Before it was just 1. So that's really cool and exciting, and I'm looking forward to that going forward. So the first thing in here is this big aerosol can. This is the Prenup Instant Spray Hair Mask from IGK. Now, I swear by IGK products. I never thought I would be so in love with like a luxury hair care brand. I use their Mistress hair balm every time I wash my hair after the fact. It makes my hair feel so soft and great, and it smells awesome. I think with the exception of maybe 1 or 2 things, every single thing I've tried from IGK has been fantastic, this included. So I actually have one of these already. I either bought it as an add-on in some subscription box or I got it at Marshall's. You can usually find a lot of their products in like a Marshall's or a Winners type of place, marked down pretty cheap. So the Prenup spray mask, you're supposed to use this in the shower, which can get a little awkward if you don't have a shower that like has a shut off feature, because you're going to be standing in the spray, spraying this, trying to direct it around your hair so that you coat everything. And then you're supposed to comb it out, which is also awkward because who brings a comb into the shower? And then let it sit for about 5 minutes and then rinse it out. So I only use this about once a week. Other than, the awkwardness of the application process, it actually does make my hair feel really strong and healthy immediately after I use it. Now, one other thing I have noticed is my hair, like this is me naturally having put my hair in a ponytail and let it dry after my last shower. So I have like a fair bit of curl. The one thing I will say is that after using this, it doesn't feel as springy and light as it usually does. Like it's almost like there's something in here that weighs it down a little bit. Not that it necessarily looks bad, but it just is a little bit different from what I'm used to. And the Prenup mask, like I believe all IGK product, is vegan and cruelty free. The next thing in here was my choice item. I remembered as soon as I saw it, at least, is from Too Faced. It is their Hangover RX Replenishing Face Primer. So it comes in this kind of weirdly shaped tube. Like I've never seen a tube like this where the product to like cap ratio was so small. It's full sized. It says it has coconut water, probiotic based ingredients, and skin revivers in it, and it's silicone free. So it comes in a pump within the squeezy tube. I don't want to waste too much of it, but so it comes out as this like white sort of liquid. It kind of just feels like a moisturizer, honestly. We'll see how that goes on my hand. Definitely smells a little bit like coconuts and a little bit like something else, like almost like fermented fruit. That sounds terrible. I don't really know how else to describe it. It's not a bad smell, just kind of different. We'll see how it works on my hand, because honestly, my hands are feeling quite dry. I started a new job recently where we have to use sanitizer on a very regular basis, and my hands are much worse off for it. Obviously, it's like very important and I'm happy to do it, but the skin on my hands is not very happy. The next thing in here is this flat little box. It's from Beauty Diva London, and it's their Diva eye brush set. So these brushes have orange handles, and there's 4 of them. These are kind of short, actually. The handles are really broad, like in comparison to the width of the brushes themselves. Okay, so none of the bristles on these brushes are particularly long. Like this one is pretty straight, and I think it's probably supposed to be an eyeliner brush. This one is kind of wider and angled. I think this is probably supposed to be a crease brush. And this one is just round and a little more full. And then this one here could be like a concealer or I guess again a crease brush. They kind of remind me of Lego, and I don't know if that's because of the color, like the bright orange color, or because they've got this like geometric kind of hexagonal print in the handles there, but they're kind of funky. They'd probably be good for traveling because they're so short, and they feel pretty soft. I'm excited to try those. The box also says that they're cruelty-free. The next thing in here is this single shadow from Dose of Colors. This also says it's vegan and cruelty-free. It's their Block Party eyeshadow in the shade Reflection. BoxyCharm has had these on a bunch of add-on and pop-up sales before, so I would kind of hope that anybody who bought one of these didn't end up getting the same one in their box, because that's kind of the opposite of what you want. Like, you use the add-ons to pick up on things that you didn't get previously. So this is kind of like a slate gray. It's very metallic. I'll do a quick swatch on my hand. So it actually didn't apply all that dark. It does come across as like a deeper gray. This would be great for like a smoky eyeshadow, but I didn't expect it to sheer out quite as much as it did, so that's kind of surprising. Next is this Outburst Longwear Lip Stain from Bite Beauty. This is also vegan. So Bite did reformulate all of their products recently so that everything in their line would be vegan. And if the sticker on the box is anything to go by, this is the shade Orange Fizz. I'm guessing that this is going to be very much an orange color. Absolutely. Okay, so these tubes are really nice. They're kind of like a matte rubberized finish, and then they have like the flat surface to apply it with. I used to have an orangey red liquid matte lipstick from Half Caked, and I got it in an Ipsy bag. The formula was really nice, but I hated the colors so much. I liked the formula so much though that I then like went and bought a trio of other like more wearable colors, because they had those in a BoxyCharm add-on like a long time later. But on the other hand, that color that they sent me was just not it. I did give it like a good try. I wore it out a couple of times and I just felt like a clown. So hopefully this one isn't quite as bad, but I'm already feeling a little bit of concern. So that applied like really smoothly. You can see there. It's actually like more like a red than I was expecting it to be, although it still skews like on the orange side of red, which is the side of red that I tend to stay away from, because I feel like those kinds of colors bring out any redness and like unflattering undertones in my skin. However, because we're going around wearing masks all the time, maybe I can be a little bit adventurous with my lipstick when I know that nobody's going to see it. And absolutely wearing a mask over it will test the durability of this formula, because it does claim to be a lip stain rather than just a lipstick. The last thing in here is actually a set, so it's not just one product, it's two. It's from, I don't know if this is pronounced Kypris or Kypris. It's spelled with a Y. It's their Illumination and Active Shimmer set, and it says that it contains their illuminating eye serum and primer and a shimmer palette. The one and only time I got this brand in a BoxyCharm, it came with like a face serum, which was supposed to be really, really expensive, but it really didn't do anything for me. Like, it was very milky. It smelled very natural. Like, it smelled like some plants. I probably still have it somewhere. I didn't notice any change in my skin while using it. So this is the Illuminating Eye Serum and Primer. It's in a little dropper bottle. It does look a little bit separated. Like, it's white, but then there's like a layer of clear liquid around the top. So let me see if I can shake that up. I don't think it moved at all while I was shaking it. Okay. So it says that this was made exclusively for BoxyCharm, which is interesting. And the instructions say to gently pat a thin layer around eye area. So what exactly does this do? Because I don't know that you would put a primer like under your eye. It says it'll smooth and brighten the appearance of your eye area. So you could wear it on its own or under makeup as an eye primer. Okay. So there was like none of it in the dropper when I pulled it out the first time. And then when I tried to squeeze some up into the dropper, it just came up with a bunch of bubbles. So I don't know what's like, is this separated like it's supposed to be? Because when it came out, it was very milky. The stuff in the bottle looks very thick, almost like clay. I wonder if this was sitting around in a warehouse for a while. Okay, it actually moved that time. Okay, the formula is a little bit thicker the second time. I still don't know that I really want to put this on my eyes if I don't even know what it's supposed to look like. It's definitely cooling. I'm almost finished using up my eye primer, so, you know, having this much in a bottle would definitely be helpful. Although I do have a couple backups that I've gotten in various subscriptions, so I don't know if I will be able to use this because I don't know what the consistency is supposed to be like. But let's move on to the palette. So it's just this little white box here. And there are 5 shades. So these are very pretty. This olive one in particular, it's called Shadow Alchemy, is beautiful. There's like a rose gold. I don't really know how to describe that one. It's a little bit silver, it's a little bit blue. And then there's like a white and a standard gold. I probably should not have swatched the blue one and then the white one on the same finger. So this says it's supposed to be used as a shimmer topper rather than like as a full eyeshadow, which I think is interesting to market an entire palette that's just topper shades. Also, other than that very last one, the other 4 kind of just looked relatively similar on the skin. I think the formula is actually kind of hard. Like I was pressing on it with my finger and it felt like I was having to work to pick anything up. They kind of remind me of Sephora sells these small eyeshadow palettes as part of their Sephora collection. I have 2 of them, and the shimmer shades in those, in particular, like a really pale pink shimmer in, I think it's like the Cookie palette or something. It does like separate like this when you go to apply it, and it just kind of like disperses shimmer across your eyelids. Like you can't really place it anywhere in particular. And that's what this kind of reminds me of. Like the shimmer is nice. There is very little pigment to speak of, so I don't know that anybody with a deeper skin tone would really like this palette. It's a fun concept. Like I like shimmery shades. I think I probably would have been fine if this was just like a duo rather than such like a big thing to have to store. Or if they've used like a couple of these in a palette with actually pigmented eyeshadows, and then you were like, oh, and here's the topper shade that can go over those. But it's cute. I like that it has a mirror. The packaging is nice. I wonder if applying it on top of that eye primer would actually like boost the pigment a little bit more. Let me try that. I'll use the rose gold shade. Okay, so that actually did a little bit. I'm also noticing that where I have applied that primer is now a little bit more yellowy looking than it was before. You can't see it from that distance. It's useless for me to hold it up like this. But the shimmer is actually like, I have a mirror right here, so I can tell the difference just between those 2 on the hand without the primer and the hand with the primer. So that's interesting to see. And I've been getting into using a lot of shimmer shadows recently, so I'm sure I'll get quite a bit of use out of this. Overall, I would say I am most excited by this. Drop the aerosols, Emily. Overall, I would say I'm most excited about this. I dropped it a minute ago and the lid rolled across the room. That's why it's not on here anymore. Although, you know, it is a duplicate of something that I already own. The shadow palette is probably the second most exciting. This I'm not that excited about because it's just one shadow. By the way, I have tried Dose of Colors shadows before, but they were in one of their 5-pan matte palettes, and they were all very soft, very blendable, very nice. So I don't know if it's just their shimmer formula or if this was like an old formula or something, but it doesn't perform as well as those, which is kind of sad. The brushes I could take or leave. I'm intrigued by the formula of the Bite lipstick, but not the color. And then, you know, this is a primer that I've heard a lot about. It's been out for quite a while. And I think this is kind of like one of those polarizing products. Like, a lot of people don't like having coconut in their skincare products, so I can definitely see that being an issue for some people. However, I think I like this box more than the Luxe box I got this month, which is ironic because that one cost more, but you never know. I have not yet had the chance to find the Canadian prices for all of these items, so I'm just going to read off the American ones and then put the Canadian ones on the screen somewhere. So let's start with this guy. This set says it's made exclusively for BoxyCharm and is not for resale, so that means you can't go out and buy this box with these 2 items in it, which is fine. But then you can't really put a price on this unless you combine the price of the 2 items in here. And it says it's worth $145, which I think we can all agree is a little bit of BS. It's literally like 5 shimmery shadows and some liquid goop in a bottle. I went on their website because I wanted to see if they sold these products individually and maybe the primer was like a mini or something, so that's where they're getting that value from. On their website, the primer is $120. The shimmer palette is $72. But right now, they have this deal where if you buy the primer, you get the shimmer palette for free. So either this is worth $120 because at that point the palette is completely free, or it's worth $192. Like, where are you getting this $145 from? And also, can I just say, I really feel bad for anybody who got suckered into paying $120 for that teeny bottle of serum, because that is a made-up number. Nothing that you put on your face is actually worth $120. Why stop there? Like, why not say it's worth $6,000? Moving on. The Too Faced Hangover Primer is $35. The Bite Beauty Lip Stain is $27. The Beauty Diva London brush set is $48. The IGK prenup mask is $32. Although that one confused me a little because like I am actually pretty familiar with IGK products, and so I know that they haven't had this one at Sephora for a while. And all of the IGK products tend to run in like the $37 to $45 range. And I feel like with conversion, if this was $32 US, I feel like with conversion, this would end up being a lot more. So that's kind of interesting. And then the single eyeshadow from Dose of Colors costs $20, which is also crazy. Please don't spend $20 on a single eyeshadow. I'm going to run through this pretty quickly. I actually took a quick glance through here before, and I noticed there are quite a few items in here that I already have myself or have tried. To begin with, the Beauty Diva London brushes that I got. This is actually not the primer I thought it was at first glance. It's the Too Faced Hangover Good To Go Moisturizer with SPF 25. So I've never tried this, but it is in the same line, obviously, as the primer that I got. And I believe this was a variation item. If you didn't get this set here, you would have received that moisturizer. So I have a feeling that because I picked the primer, it might have set up kind of an automatic you don't get the Too Faced moisturizer, because those are pretty similar products. They're literally from the same line. That's just a guess, but I know that was a variation. Next up, there's a lip liner from Haus Laboratories, which is Lady Gaga's makeup brand. It looks like there were quite a few colors available here. The Bite Beauty Outburst Longwear Lip Stain, obviously I got the Orange Fizz shade, and ironically of the three, I think that's the one that I'm least likely to wear. What are the odds? Instead of that, you could have gotten this Rowan Beauty Liquid Lip Balm, which just looks like kind of like a pigmented gloss, honestly. I've never heard of this brand before, but I think their packaging looks really nice. Instead of the IGK spray mask, you could have gotten this product, which is their Trust Issues Instant Scalp Rebalancing Treatment. I have this stuff and it's really awesome. So sometimes I have a bit of a dry scalp and it gets itchy. When you spray this on, it cools your scalp, then it doesn't leave like a residue. It doesn't leave any white flakes or anything. I think this is a really cool product. And if I had gotten that instead of this, I would have been just as happy with it. So down here, there's the Too Faced primer that I got. These were the 3 choice options. So you could have gotten the primer or the Glow Skin Beauty, either their Beta Clarity BHA drops or their Hydra Bright Alpha Arbutin drops. And you know me, I'm not a big skincare person. I'm not really trying to over-treat my skin really, so I've just stuck with the primer. You could have also gotten the Elizabeth Mott Volumizing Mascara, and here we get into, I'm not really sure what this would be the equivalent of. Then there's the Avant Skincare Daily Moisturizer, which is supposedly worth $123. That's an insane amount of money, and I'm pretty sure that package is pretty small. The Original Makeup Eraser released a sponge. This came out in, I think, the December base box, so I already have this, and I got it from BoxyCharm. There's a Real Her Lip Liner Duo. The Dose of Colors eyeshadow came in 7 colors as well, so I got like the dark gray. I think it was this one. But then there's also like this green and this blue that I thought looked really pretty. I have these as well, the Go-To Skincare Exfoliating Swipies. So these are unlike any exfoliating pad that I've tried before. You're actually supposed to rinse your face off after you use them, and like with good reason. I mean, they're pretty harsh. You wouldn't want to leave that on your skin. They are kind of like a gritty texture to them, so you can feel them exfoliating, but they're not the most comfortable product to use. There's a Jouer Lip Enhancer, which I know has been in the box before, and then this Marc Jacobs Gel Eyeliner. This product, this is actually just like a hand soap. It was in a FabFitFun box a while ago, and I didn't hang on to it. I actually gave it away to somebody, but I've seen that before at least. It's pretty big, not something I would pay $40 for, but it seems like it smells nice. Then there's a 3-piece Cannabis Sativa mask. I have this Iconic London Glow Drops as well. This is a really nice product. I like mixing it in with my foundation. And then there's the Benefit Cosmetics Professional Face Primer, which is a classic product, and this has been in a BoxyCharm a few times. Finally, these two down here are among my favorite products. I'm sure if you've watched any of my videos, you've heard me mention this. It's a great foundation. And then also the Tarte Big Ego Vegan Mascara. I got both of these in a BoxyCharm the first time I tried them. This is like one of my favorite mascara formulas. I use this basically on a daily basis, and same with the foundation. So yeah, there are all of the items from this month. Although I definitely don't believe the value of all of them. That's the end of this video. Thank you for sticking around and watching. Please consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. Let me know if you got a box this month, what you got, and what you thought of the items that I got. Bye.